Imagine this: San Francisco, the world's tech capital, with billion-dollar companies on every corner, but just around the corner from Twitter's former headquarters, you find something completely different. Tents, tent camps stretching for miles, more than 4,000 people living on the streets of one of the richest cities in the United States. And this isn't just the story of San Francisco, friends. From Seattle to Phoenix, from Los Angeles to small towns in Tennessee, the United States is facing a homelessness crisis unlike anything we've seen in generations. The numbers are truly shocking. In January 2024, in a single night, more than 770,000 Americans experienced homelessness, an 18% increase from the previous year, the highest number recorded since data collection began in 2007. But you know what? What makes this crisis truly unprecedented is this: most of these people aren't unemployed. On the contrary, they work 40, 50, even 60 hours a week and still can't afford housing. A place to live, this reveals the hidden side of homelessness in the United States. Today we're going to talk about how we got here, what it really means to be homeless in America, and if there's a way out. Because friends, these aren't just statistics. These are real people, real lives, real pain. There are lives that begin on the streets and extend for years. We're seeing the new face of American homelessness: a 34-year-old dog groomer with her own business, a plumber with 15 years of experience, casino supervisors, pizzeria managers, Amazon distribution center workers, all sleeping in cars, tents, or alternating between shelters. Research from the University of Chicago makes this very clear. 53% of people in shelters and 40% of people on the streets were employed in the year they experienced homelessness, not because they avoid work. On the contrary, they work more than most of us can imagine, often holding down several part-time jobs at the same time, and still can't secure housing. The average annual income of those in shelters is only $8,169. The average income of those living on the streets is $6,934. Now consider this. According to the National Low Income Housing Alliance, a family needs to earn $46,967 a year, about $23 an hour, to afford the fair market rent for a two-bedroom apartment. It becomes clear that this isn't a story about people who don't want to work. It's the story of an America where work no longer guarantees a roof over one's head. The contemporary era of chronic homelessness began in the 1980s with drastic policy changes when the Reagan administration cut federal subsidies for low-income housing and mental health centers, while simultaneously deinstitutionalizing thousands of patients with mental illnesses. The result was predictably an increase in homelessness and the return of encampments to American cities. In 2007, when comprehensive data collection began, approximately 637,000 people were homeless. This number fell to about 554,000 in 2017, thanks to targeted investments, especially in housing programs for veterans, but then the trend reversed sharply. Between 2017 and 2024, there was an increase of approximately 40%, with the total of 771,480 people in 2024 representing not just a statistical increase, but a humanitarian crisis caused by skyrocketing housing costs, stagnant wages, the end of pandemic-era protections, and a severe shortage of affordable housing. And these, friends, are political choices, not inevitable outcomes. Behind these numbers are real people, almost 150,000 children under 18, a 33% increase over the previous year, retired teachers sleeping in cars, college students sleeping on couches, veterans living under bridges, families increased by 39%. There are over 41,000 homeless seniors, and 43% of them live without shelter outdoors. Young people under 25 exceed 205,000. And look at the encampments. Among between 2007 and 2017, the number of homeless encampments increased by more than 1,300%, from Skid Row in Los Angeles to The Zone in Phoenix, which once housed over 1,000 people. These encampments formed communities of need, but also dangerous places with fires, violence, and disease. And what do cities do? They often dismantle these encampments without offering alternative housing options. They don't solve the problem, they just move people elsewhere. This crisis is no longer exclusive to large metropolises. It has spread to small towns and rural areas. California leads with approximately 187,000 homeless people, followed by New York with 158,000. But look, states like Texas, Rhode Island, Tennessee, and Oklahoma also have significant increases. The rapid rise in property and rental prices pushes people towards homelessness. On the streets, whether they live in large urban centers or small towns, about 2/3 of homeless people are single individuals. 1/3 are families, 60% are men, 40% are women. 36% live without shelter, 64% in shelters. Veterans still represent a vulnerable population, although declining. More than 152,000 people live in a situation of chronic homelessness. That is, for more than one consecutive year, or at least 4 times in the last 3 years, totaling 12 months. People often say, why don't they get a job? But we need to see the truth behind this myth. Most people work full-time and still can't afford rent. Work schedules don't coincide with shelter hours. Jobs are insecure, incomes are inadequate. Many employers give employees 29 hours a week, because at 30 hours, workers are entitled to basic benefits like health insurance or sick leave. It's that simple. And there are racial inequalities. Black, Latino, Native American, and Native Hawaiian people are overrepresented among the homeless population. Why? Because of centuries of discrimination, exclusionary housing policies, and structural racism. The warning signs were ignored for decades. Look what happened. Since 2009, the minimum wage has remained stagnant. It hasn't increased at all. Public housing was destroyed. The 2008 financial crisis put properties in the hands of large corporations. The construction of affordable housing slowed. And more recently, the end of pandemic protections. The result? The collapse of a shelter system unable to meet demand. Hundreds of thousands of people forced to sleep outdoors. Yes, many people have mental health problems or addiction issues, but homelessness exacerbates these problems. Often, they are not the cause, but the result. Research shows that most homeless people don't actually have these problems. And camp clearing policies, they only move the pain elsewhere. They don't address the root cause. The root cause is the lack of affordable housing. So, at this point, we face an important question. Is housing a human right, or just a commodity? Countries like Finland have shown that treating housing as a right through the Housing First model has significantly reduced homelessness. When they started the program in 2008, there were about 8,000 homeless people in Finland. By 2024, that number had fallen to 3,500. Finland is the only country in the European Union where homelessness has decreased. How did they do it? With a simple yet radical approach, they reversed traditional models. Normally, a homeless person first needed to deal with addiction or mental health problems before earning the right to a home. Finland said, no, you need a home first, then you can deal with other problems. The Housing First model is based on the belief that a safe and stable home is a basic human right and a critical foundation for addressing other issues that contribute to homelessness. By prioritizing housing as the first step, the Finnish government managed to create a supportive environment for individuals to deal with other challenges. Finland transformed former shelters into permanent housing units. In Helsinki, there were 2,121 beds in shelters and hostels in 1985. By 2016, that number had fallen to 52. During the same period, supported housing units increased from 127 to 1,309, and independent rented apartments from 65 to 2,433. And the results? The benefits are not only humanitarian, but also economic. A cost-effectiveness analysis showed that providing housing and support to a homeless person saves society at least 15,000 euros to 52,000 euros per year per person. The costs of emergency health services, social services, and the justice system have decreased significantly. Now let's take a closer look at the reality of working homeless people. Brian Goldstone researched this topic for 6 years in his book, There Is No Place for Us: Working and Homelessness in America. He participated in the daily lives of 5 families in Atlanta. Goldstone's shocking conclusion: in many American cities, a low-income job actually means homelessness on hold. What do they all have in common? They all belong to the low-income workforce. The problem isn't just that wages aren't keeping up with the cost of living. The jobs themselves have become increasingly variable and insecure. Workers often don't know from week to week how many hours they'll be working. Employers give them 29 hours a week because 30 hours would entitle them to basic benefits like health insurance or sick leave. Consider Deborah Bauer, 34, operating her own dog grooming business. Consider the homeless people in San Ramon, California, who have been homeless since October, or the plumbers with 15 years of experience, casino supervisors, pizzeria managers, all working, most full-time, but still without a safe place to live. The truth is, the numbers of homeless people are much higher than they seem. Official counts are wrong because it's extremely difficult to count everyone, but beyond that, official counts don't adequately include all forms of homelessness. Recent research shows that, taking into account people living in cars, motel rooms, or staying with others, the real number of homeless people is at least 6 times higher than the official counts. So currently, there may be 4 to 5 million people in the United States experiencing some form of homelessness. And most of these people are working. Your Uber driver is probably working another job too, maybe 2. The person shopping at Instacart as well. One job doesn't have stable, regular hours. The other pays only minimum wage, no sick leave, no insurance rights. Hard work is no longer synonymous with job security or stability. So why doesn't someone who is homeless just get a job? Because getting a job isn't simple or easy. There are systemic barriers. Housing crisis. There is a shortage of 7.3 million affordable and adequate rental homes in the United States. In 2024, the median rent is 18% higher than in 2020. Someone working for minimum wage would need to work about 96 hours a week. That is 2.4 full-time jobs to be able to afford the rent for a 2-bedroom apartment. Address problem. A permanent address is a basic requirement for securing employment, but something many homeless people lack. Many job applications require a residential address, and without it, applicants may be automatically disqualified. Paychecks, tax forms, and other important documents require a postal address. Discrimination and stigma. Many employers hold negative stereotypes about homelessness, assuming that individuals without stable housing are unreliable or insecure. This bias can lead to fewer job opportunities and lower wages. Health problems. Homelessness severely impairs physical and mental health. Lack of adequate nutrition, sleep deprivation, chronic illnesses, and exposure to extreme weather conditions affect a person's ability to perform work tasks. Lack of education and skills. Many homeless individuals face challenges related to education and work skills that can limit employment opportunities. Lack of formal education, incomplete high school diplomas, or outdated work skills make it difficult to compete in today's job market. The homelessness crisis in the United States is the result of accumulated policy failures over the years, including housing policies. Federal subsidies for low-income housing were cut in the 1980s, public housing was destroyed, private equity firms took over the housing market, wage stagnation. The federal minimum wage has been stuck at $7.25 since 2009, with no increase in 16 years. During this time, the cost of everything, especially housing, skyrocketed. The safety net weakened. Social support programs are inadequate. Protections during the pandemic ended. Programs like rent assistance and food assistance do not meet the demand. The healthcare system? Access to affordable healthcare is difficult. Mental health services are inadequate. Addiction treatment programs are limited. Structural racism, from the era of slavery to today, from redlining to mass incarceration, historical and ongoing racism is at the heart of homelessness. People of color and other historically marginalized groups have been excluded from opportunities. Homelessness varies geographically. It is much higher in coastal states than in inland regions, much higher in large cities, especially in some major metropolises, California. With about 187,000 homeless people, it has the largest homeless population in the country. Los Angeles is famous for Skid Row. San Francisco is known for the growing tent camps alongside the tech affluent. New York, 158,000 people. Homelessness. The city has expanded its shelter system, but it is still inadequate. Rental prices are at astronomical levels. Texas, Tennessee, Oklahoma. Sharp increases in recent years. Traditionally low homelessness rates in these states are rising rapidly. Migration, natural disasters, and rising housing costs are among the main causes. Rural areas. It is no longer just an urban problem. Small towns and rural communities are also affected. Homeless people are also struggling. Resources are more limited. There are fewer shelters. Transportation is more difficult. Point in time, PIT counts are done during the coldest time of year. States with the highest rates of homelessness generally have warmer climates, such as California, Alabama, and Georgia. But this isn't just a matter of climate. Shelter access policies, local resources, and police practices also play important roles. Some cities direct homeless people to shelters, others clear encampments by sending them elsewhere. The shelter system is far from meeting demand. In 2024, no community had enough permanent housing for everyone. Throughout the year, more than 1.1 million people were served, a 12% increase compared to 2023, but it's still not enough. The total inventory of beds is 1,190,565. 42% are for temporary shelters or transitional housing, the remainder for various forms of supported permanent housing. There has been an 80% increase since 2003-2007, but the demand is growing faster, and remember, people living in permanent housing with support are not counted as homeless, so the real numbers may be even higher. In 2024, the biggest increase was seen among families. Family homelessness increased by 39%, with 259,473 people experiencing homelessness as families with at least one adult and one child. Almost 150,000 children under 18 are experiencing homelessness, a 33% increase from the previous year. These children cannot attend school regularly, their access to health care is limited, and their development is at risk. Think about it. A child sitting with classmates at school doesn't know where they will go at night, where they will do their homework, where they will have a safe place to sleep, and where their next meal will come from. Young people, more than 205,000 young people under 25 are experiencing homelessness. The number of unaccompanied young people has increased by 10%, reaching 38,170. LGBTQ+ youth are especially at risk due to family rejection, discrimination, and lack of support. Elderly. 41,292 people aged 55 or older are homeless, and 43% of them live without shelter outdoors. The elderly are the fastest growing group facing homelessness in the United States. Social Security incomes are not keeping pace with the rising cost of living. Research shows that the number of homeless seniors is expected to triple between 2017 and 2030. Consider this: retired people who worked for years, who did everything right within the system, living on the streets in their old age. people of color are overrepresented among the homeless population. Black people represent 12% of the U.S. population, but by 2024, they will represent almost 32% of all homeless people. Latino Hispanic people represent 30% of all homeless people, a 32% increase from 2023, 56,629 more people. Native Americans and Alaska Natives are also overrepresented. The reasons are deep and historical. The legacy of slavery and discrimination, redlining and other discriminatory housing policies, unequal access to education and employment opportunities. Mass incarceration and inequalities in the justice system, denial of opportunities for intergenerational wealth accumulation. For many people in the United States, job security used to mean economic security, but not anymore. Here are some case studies. Celeste, working 2-3 jobs at the same time to support her children, inspecting boxes in a warehouse, working at a fast food restaurant, even selling meals from her room. When her house burned down, she was evicted from her home owned by a private equity firm. Her credit score was destroyed. Now she stays in an extended stay hotel, paying $520 a week, working during the day, trying to take care of her children at night, unable to sleep at night because she doesn't know what will happen tomorrow. Aaron, a casino supervisor, has regular hours, earns above minimum wage, but in loss.